Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is James Dews, and today we'll be taking you through how to set up an account on the Business Analytics SMRZR API and set up your requests to be sent regularly, daily at the moment, but we might change that in the future. Alrighty, let's create a user. Everything will be done using this interface. So that's fun for everyone. BA SMRZR, and then this is just the email address that you will get sent from. I'm using a doo-doo password, but you should use a secure one. We'll execute that, and then we get our 401 saying that the email that we signed up with and the date that it was created at, which is of course now. Beautiful. So now we have our user. We will authorize the rest of the thing. We just saw that it was PA at gmail.com, and then the password, of course, was pass. Now, of course, with all password managers, we fight them to be able to do anything these days. Cool. So basically what has happened now is that we have scoped this session. Boom. This means that we can use other parts of the API that require us to be authorized. The giveaways of what needs to be required to be authorized are here. Basically, any time you want to make a request, you need to be logged in, and thus have authorized here. Cool. And anytime you see that this is not locked, then these points will not be able to be called. So, because we just created a new user, I don't want to save that password, thank you. We, of course, don't have any requests yet, so we're going to create a new one. For this, we are now going to need to create our RSS feed. We're using Google Alerts, but in theory, in the future, we could use anything. And so let's see. Let's just have one about global warming. Yeah, let's just see what's happening with global warming that we want to know about regularly. And so with Google Alerts, you have a couple options. How often it checks, what the sources are, what the language is, where in the world you're getting it from. Yeah, some level of results cleaning, because you can get a lot of rubbish if you're not careful, and where you want to deliver it to. So the default of this will be your email. But in this instance, we want to set up an RSS feed, so we will do that option instead. And so when we create the alert, you will have the option to click here, which will open your RSS feed for you. So from here, we can just grab the link that we created and bash that in on the top. Then we can check our similarity sentence. So let's say, what is the latest news about global warming? We're going to have our similarity cut off. So at what point do we drop multiple websites that are essentially saying the same thing? So let's say BBC says that there's fires in Portugal, and the Portuguese news are saying there are fires in Portugal, and if there's overlap to a certain amount, one of those will be dropped. And then that cutoff is then there. So if you want more chance that you will have similar things not being dropped, then make this number lower. And if you want to be quite strict, then make it higher. We default to around 0.7 because in general, that's quite a nice cutoff we've found. And then, yeah, the receiver email. So who do we want the summarized output to be sent to. So in this instance, I'm just going to use my personal email. Bum, 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 bum. So that's gonna go there. Beautiful. So if we execute, we should see that it's been created. Every time you want to have a 200 response, if it's anything else, then something's gone wrong. And there, yeah, this is the thing that we just set up. So the information that we just filled in, the number of the row number essentially, and then who owns this thing. So then the login and when the login was created at. So yeah, that's nice. And then we can do a quadruple check that the thing was created as we wanted it to be by getting all the requests from this user. With this, we can just execute, and then we should get a list of all the creations we've made. Currently we only have one, so it's a list of one. So yeah, that's now in the backend database, and when the emails all get sent out, this will then also be included in those in that email list. But let's say we actually want to change our thing that we just made. We need to make sure we have the ID. So the ID is number 7 here. And then we're going to try to update the request. So we know it's number 7, and we know that the RSS feed is still what we had before. But in actual fact, we realized we were foolish to think about what was the latest news in global warming. Really, we need how many forest fires have happened, or maybe better one. What is the latest news on forest fires? Because we want to know about the symptoms of the global warming rather than the scientific nature of it. And maybe we say, oh, in actual fact, I want to be more certain that I get something in, that I'm less worried about duplicates, so then I will lower my cutoff, and then yeah, I'll fill my email again to make sure it's still going to the same place. So now we can execute, and then you should get the 200 response again, so that's good. And then we can double check that this has worked out by looking in our requests, and we now see the thing that we just updated. So what is the thing on the forest fires and the new cutoff? And yeah, if we decide in actual fact we don't really care about global warming, which apparently a lot of the world seems to have decided, we can just say we want to get rid of our creation, and we can just say based on the ID that we found from our GET request from earlier, we can then execute this, and you'll get the 204 response that it has gone. And to double check again, we keep going back, as you may have noticed, to this get all requests thing. You do this and then you get an empty list because there's nothing there. So these are all the options that you have with the Business Analytics SMRZR API at the moment. Be sure to create a user and save your password if you have yet to do so. And if you want to make requests, you will of course have to authorize. Thank you very much for listening, and curious on your feedback.